Hi, friends, and welcome to the April 8th edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show podcast with me, your astrologer in Orlando, Florida, Shelley Overton. And I want to welcome you and thank you for having a little patience with me in the last few weeks, as I have been very busy on Fridays. So by the end of the day, it makes it really difficult to get up a podcast. So I'm probably going to be moving it to Saturday morning, letting you know. And so, you can anticipate having it up on Saturday instead of Friday. And that's just, again, it's logistics and exhaustion, quite honestly. So what I think we're going to do is go over the week's aspects and then just kind of look at the chart and discuss what we see in that. And maybe talk a little bit about the moon that we just had on Thursday, the full moon. This coming week, starting today is Saturday. We started today with Mercury sextile to Mars, which is, it's actually a very good energy. Mercury in Taurus is really grounded. It brings our mind chatter down to, grounded energy, which means that we're much more practical about what we think about and what we do. And it's in positive aspect to Mars in Cancer, which means we're able to really focus on security and home life and what we do with our own personal finances. And it can really increase our income at this time, because Cancer is a very security-driven sign. With Mars in it, it means that now we have the action to back up that security. And in positive aspect to Mercury, our thought and thought processes are in the earthy, loving, financially focused energy of Taurus. So that happened early Saturday, and that will definitely kind of set the pace for the weekend. Then we have Moon in Scorpio, and Moon in Scorpio has been a little bit difficult. Yesterday, Moon in Scorpio was conjunct the South Node, and that can mean events happening that have a significance we may not even recognize for a little while. We're talking events around connections to other people, security of joint endeavors and finances, investments, committing to a person, committing to a partnership. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it can be romantic. It is looking to the past to set up a consistent psychology around where we're heading. There is a trine of Moon to Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces overnight, and it happens at 1:50 a.m. Sunday for Eastern time and 10:50 p.m. Pacific on Saturday night for those of our friends in the West Coast, on the West Coast. And so the Moon and Neptune mean that we're, again, focusing on how other people see us, how we get our value of self through another's eyes. It is groundedness in relationships and commitment. It is legalities. So we may be dealing with more paperwork or legal issues or something associated with personal property. We've got also the energy of Neptune, which is our dreams and ideals, and being in our intuition and being in our gut emotions. Sunday is Easter. Happy Easter. We have the moon moving into Sagittarius first thing in the morning at 8:57 a.m. Eastern and 5:57 a.m. Pacific. Moon in Sagittarius brings out a more optimistic mindset. We look to be more entertained or entertain others. It is an energy, it's an energy of athleticism and athletics and sporting events. So that may be where we focus more on Sunday. And then we've got a square of the moon to Saturn at 3:21 p.m. Eastern. And Moon in Sagittarius means drive, action, wanting to take some type of action towards what we want to do, but not really grounding the energy in. It is a fire sign, of fire energy. So we are seeking, we are moving, we are keeping on. And the energy of Pluto, Moon actually sextiles Pluto earlier in the day. And that's actually very freedom-loving energy, followed by that Saturn in Pisces, which means, yes, you may love the freedom early in the day, but now you have to really take a moment and understand the emotions and the emotionalism that is out there. Moon in Sag squaring Saturn in Pisces. It's a difficult energy. It can be an energy around travel and something happening with long distance travel It is airplane travel. It is not one of my favorite aspects. I did that. My eye caught a screenshot on my desktop referencing an airplane ticket that I had. So I would just caution you, if you're flying on an airplane, definitely follow your gut. Yeah, it's not a good aspect in my opinion if you're going to be flying, so you might want to rethink that. And Monday, we move into a new energy with Venus and Gemini. So it is wrapping up the energy of Venus in Taurus, which means we are wrapping up money stories. We're wrapping up love stories, something to do with women, something to do with desire and allowing. And then there is a trine. Actually, there are three trines of the moon in Sag in the early morning, or excuse me, moon in Sag, trining Chiron at 1:28 p.m. Eastern, moon in Sag trining the sun in Aries at 9:48 p.m. and moon in Sag trining Jupiter in Aries in the evening as well at 10:55 before Venus goes into Gemini. And so that's kind of a concentration of multiple energies. So the trines mean that with Chiron, with Sun, with Jupiter, the moon is very close to all of those planets in a triangle. And when it hits all of those, we are looking at a wounding from the male energy, the ego, and the ability to take action and have freedom of movement. And it's mostly action. So it can mean that there is a subtle emotional home energy associated with our ability to act. And maybe this has to do with being with foreigners, being from a foreign country, or traveling long distance to a foreign country. And then we are followed by that Venus and Gemini. And Venus and Gemini overnight, because it crosses time zones, it's Pacific 9:47 p.m., Eastern 12:47 a.m. on Tuesday. And so there is a shift of energy overnight. So we have this highly concentrated ending energy of Venus in Taurus, focusing us on love, focusing us on a relationship, focusing on our desires, on beauty, on aesthetics, on the goddess energy, on money, on growing things. And then it shifts immediately overnight into Gemini, which is a very fast moving energy. And we are back in the duality and communication energy of Mercury. And of course, Mercury is in a shadow period now. So Venus moving into Gemini is another period of high focus on our words, on how we come across, what we think, the quickness of our mind. It's also transportation, locality, who's around us, what's around us, what we do with what's around us, pets. So if you have a pet that's been going through issues, it may increase at this time. You may be much more focused on the health of that pet, especially as Venus now is going to square Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn in Pisces can be a restriction around health, or a focus on health, or a focus on how we integrate a situation we don't necessarily want to look at and what we do to escape it. And with Venus moving into Gemini, and she's only there really through the 8th of May. So it's going to be about, yeah, just a little shy of a month in that sign. But it's going to really focus us on the duality of women. And that can mean having two love options or being split between two desires over the course of this next month. When Venus moves into Cancer in early May, it's really pushing us into the energy that we just started experiencing with Mars being in Cancer. And so we are moving more into what we truly desire around the home, what makes us feel secure, what makes us feel comforted, and more of a focus on that nurturing mother energy come May. But currently, with Venus moving into that Gemini energy this week, that's going to be kind of the main highlight of the week. And so look forward to that overnight from Monday to Tuesday, and then really getting into that groove. What it is we've had the action as Mars was there for 7 months in that Gemini energy. It really showed us how we act on that duality, on the even duplicity. Duplicity is a little bit more devious sounding nature, but Mercury can be the trickster in Gemini. It's about speaking our words accurately and not. So it can be about lying and how that energy shows up. Definitely with what's going on with Trump, he's a Gemini, Venus into Gemini. It's going to highlight the desire to not necessarily be pinned down, just like Mercury is hard to pin down as an element. It's going to make us harder to pin down with our words and our thoughts and our desires. What is it that you truly want? Do you want freedom? Do you want this person? Do you want that person? What is your true desire? And that's what's going to come out for the month. Wednesday is a money day with the moon entering Capricorn on Tuesday at 1:33 p.m. And then there is a sun conjunct, we're going to go back to Tuesday, a sun conjunct Jupiter in the late afternoon, early evening at 6:07 p.m. Eastern, 3:07 p.m. Pacific. So sun and Aries, Jupiter and Aries together, it expands that self-interest, self-promotion. Ego is heightened really strongly at that point, and Chiron energy is still about. There is a square of moon to Chiron on Wednesday, and the moon in Capricorn means taking ownership of what's going on. And then, of course, it squares Chiron because Chiron in Aries is feeling the need, the desire, the drive to have a freedom around expression. And the expression is very masculine and assertive. And so we see that energy, interestingly, really punctuated with difficulty on Wednesday because the moon in Capricorn wants us to be practical, grounded, and earthy and responsible, while Aries wants us to just take free action. And Chiron can really hurt others, which is what that wounding is about. It's about the action that can wound others, a masculine male drive. And the moon in Capricorn is about, but you told me you would do this. You committed to doing this, and now you're not doing this. Why aren't you doing it? And that's what our moon wants us to express. So in our lives, we will draw in that kind of archetype between those two signs. So we are either the Capricorn energy moon, or we are the Chiron energy slash sun slash Jupiter slash Vesta. Vesta is the asteroid of home and hearth. So this energy coming up this week really focuses on how we are expressing our masculine drive around the home and around what it is we want to do for freedom and to be able to freely express our masculine side. True for both genders. Yeah, we're going to be really expressing that drive for freedom. And it could run straight into difficulty, especially because it squares Mars, and that's the ruling sign, the ruling planet of Aries, but also because we have Capricorn moon, which creates a grand T-square energy between Aries, Capricorn, and Cancer. And that's just this difficult kind of butting your head into a wall, especially poignant visual, and especially poignant visual for Aries, which is the ram hitting the wall. Capricorn, Cancer axis in the zodiac is the wall. Hitting. So people who are strongly influenced by Mars or Aries, if you know where your Mars or Aries is in your chart, you're going to really feel it this week. And my Mars is in Cancer, so I'm part of the wall. I'm part of the one putting up the wall that the Aries people are wanting to hit. That being said, I have Scorpio rising, which puts Aries in the house of work. So there may be something going on in the work environment that really frustrates for the Scorpio people. And that's just one example. But wherever Aries falls in your chart, you're going to be hitting your head against that Capricorn Cancer wall, which is career and work, its structure. And it is kind of a hearkening back to the Pluto and Capricorn energy, wanting us to have a stronger structure and really enforcing that structure this week as we go through the middle of the week. Then Thursday, the moon enters Aquarius. We have a lovely sextile between the moon in Capricorn and Neptune in Pisces, which is also setting up an energy around the structure of your dreams and your desires. We've got a void of course moon right after the moon sextiles Neptune on Thursday, which is 10:14 a.m. And then the moon enters Aquarius, which is immediately following that Capricorn stability of the moon into the energy of Pluto, which at 5:11 p.m. Eastern, 2:11 p.m. Pacific, the moon will be joined with Pluto in Aquarius, and he has not gone retrograde yet. He won't till Pluto retrogrades May 1st or the 30th of April. So we're going to really see this energy kick off pretty strongly as the moon hits that Pluto immediately upon entering. That's the 13th at 5:11 p.m. And so Thursday evening is going to be really strong energy about autonomy, entrepreneurship, having the freedom to move freely, thinking emotionally with the moon, between people with entrepreneurship and partnership and community. So it is a great energy of home being a place that's free to express yourself, free to really be that person that you want to be. Let your freak flag fly is the phrase that is often used with Aquarian energy. And it is really that moment of owning how you are unique and different, which is what Aquarius wants us all to be: autonomous, different within the collective. We all work together, being exactly who we're meant to be. Friday coming up next week, because again, we're probably not going to post until Saturday for the next week's podcast. Friday, we have Moon in Aquarius in conjunct Mars in Cancer. So it is not feeling comfortable in the family environment or with the structure of home per se. And the moon is the ruler of Cancer. Mars is in Cancer, and it's in a negative, difficult aspect, Mars to the moon. So we're going to definitely feel out of our element. It's going to feel really uncomfortable energetically with our mental capacity at that time, because moon in Aquarius is high awareness of energy that is beyond ourselves in a very large capacity. This is mass communications. So mass communications could be affected around the home, that internet isn't working, our phones may not be working properly as we get closer and closer to the Mercury retrograde, which happens the 21st of April. And so just pay attention to that, because at the end of next week, the 14th, we're going to be really kicking off the Mercury retrograde energy for that whole week, as Mercury and the energy is really highlighted through that moon in Aquarius, through the aspects the moon gives to Mercury and Taurus. And then, of course, that's also going to be a larger, I would say, a larger story on Bitcoin, around Twitter, around tech stocks, around tech companies, and the internet, streaming services, anything that has to do with desire, beauty, enjoyment, entertainment as it relates to the home and the family. And then Venus in Gemini squares Saturn in Pisces at 12:38 p.m. on Friday. And so that is going to be an added bonus of tech energy. The desire with Venus in Gemini is, can't we all just get along and do multiple things? Why do we have to choose? But Saturn in Pisces says this emotionally doesn't feel good. There's something about the energy emotionally or viscerally within the body. That's how Pisces picks things up, through the water in the body. And it's like a giant radar for emotion. We're going to feel that on Friday in the afternoon when that hits. Again, it is 12:38 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to feel like something's off. It doesn't feel right. So Venus in Gemini may be picking up the duality, and the Pisces energy is saying, now you have to own it. So Friday the 14th, not the 13th, but it might act a lot like a Friday the 13th. I'm just giving you a heads up for that. And then we move into Saturday, which I'm going to give you Saturday morning because I want you to have that before I get up the information, that the moon enters Pisces, actually later in the day at 7 p.m. There is a sextile between the moon and Jupiter in the morning, and it's about freedom. Jupiter's in Aries, moon is in Aquarius. That is quintessentially, don't tell me what to do, and now I'm going to go do it energy first thing in the morning. So we'll wake up really kind of vibrant and wanting to seek out new adventures. And then there is a sextile between the sun in Aries and moon in Aquarius later in the day at 11:16 a.m. Then the moon moves into Pisces on Saturday, and of course joins up with Saturn in Pisces. So that's going to be the intense energy around emotionalism. So there could be a mixed bag on the late part of the week, Friday, Saturday, between intellectualism and emotionalism. And I'm just giving you a heads up with that. Okay, that being said, we did have that full moon, which I totally did not even touch on last week, and my apologies. There was such a short amount of time to do anything. That probably was one of the bigger things to touch on. But moon in Libra. Libra is about marriage and partnership and quintessentially finding our balance in life. And it can relate to justice and books and writing, all of the endeavors that Libra rules. So we had a high focus on that at the end of this week, Thursday. And the moon was really beautiful. I hope you got out and looked at it. My daughter even called and said that the International Space Station was going overhead. And I think I saw it. Went down behind the trees across the street. It was pretty cool. It went fairly fast. It was like that. And it had that sound too. I'm just kidding. Anyway, the Libra energy is going to trigger us for a little while, probably another week, around marriage and partnership and how we balance our lives. So that was definitely a big event coming in. And then because it was opposite the sun, but Jupiter, Vesta, Chiron, there was this energy of self and the other. How can I be true to myself and take action with regards to what I really want and be able to support this marriage, this partnership, etc. So yeah, we have the axis was highlighted between Aries and Libra, and that is really where the energy fell. It fell between self and motivation to do what you really want to do to promote your own interests versus how that those interests really affect another. And then Taurus, of course, is ruled by Taurus is Taurus, of course, is ruled by the energy of Venus, which Libra also was ruled by. And this week, the planets will be in Aries and Taurus mostly. And we've got North Node, of course, that's in Taurus, and that means something uncomfortable that can be to our benefit that we have to truly look at, something that we are interested in moving towards, but a very destined, fated moment where Mercury was just on it a few days ago, 3 days ago. And then that was also the full moon. And now Mercury is moving beyond the North Node and at 7 degrees of Taurus. So Mercury kind of is in square to, I mean, it's moving away from square, but it's still in square by sign and technically square within 8 degrees of orb, meaning 8 degrees on either side of an exact to Pluto in Aquarius. So Mercury communication in Taurus, beauty, love, money, squaring the energy of Aquarius, which wants us to look at community. And so there may be some issues coming up about how we look at our money situation, where money comes from, and whether or not we're getting our needs met for freedom around money. Are we able to earn it freely? Are we interested in spending it freely? Or how is love coming in? Is love embracing our own personal freedom, or is it bogging us down? And so these are the questions that we are coming up with while Mercury is in Taurus and squaring Pluto. We have Juno in Taurus as well. So of course, Juno rules marriage and partnership. 1 degree off of Uranus, which means there is a merging of the energy of the unexpected, but also the awareness, the clarity of what we want in love. And Juno, love going up on Uranus, saying, what is the truth of the situation that I want to express in marriage, in love, in freedom? And how can I truly express that and get my needs met in that situation as well? Venus, late degrees, Taurus, like I said, she's going to be there through Tuesday, and then she'll move into Gemini. So while she wraps up this energy, we are really focused on how that love and money situation and desire energy is expressing out in the world. And in Gemini, she's going to break free of some of the structures. She's going to focus more on community, family, not on community, education, children, pets, and neighbors, and more of the close in community and locality of what our world is. Mars in Cancer is going to continue to be there for a little while, like a month at least. Mars doesn't go into Leo, I think, until May. Mars moves into Leo around the 20th of May. And so there will be a good amount of time to really understand our motivations around home and family, mother energy. And this can mean we're learning about mom. It's a square to Chiron approaching. So there's going to be some kind of child storyline because Aries represents children and the newborn energy, squaring the moon of Cancer energy with Mars. And so that's going to really highlight parents and children energy in our world. And then Mars moves into Leo even more highlighting the childlike expression of energy. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. I want to thank you for stopping by once again. Please do share the podcast if you get a chance. Comment, because I want to know the feedback and what you think and what's going on with you. How are these planets affecting you? It really helps me to address some of the issues. If you want to comment below, please let me know so I can look at what's going on and incorporate it into my future podcasts. And then share, comment, like, subscribe, all the usual things. And I hope to see you again back here next Saturday. Take care and have a great week. Thanks.
Baby, I like you raw. I like you raw. I like you raw. I like you raw. Shimmy, shimmy out, shimmy in, shimmy yeah. Give me the mic so I can take it away. Off on a natural charge, boom barrage. Yeah, from the home of the Dodger Brooklyn squad. 10 killer bees on the swarm. Rain on your dollar ass disco dome. You didn't even touch my skill. Gotta have one killer bee and he ain't gonna kill him. Shut that down, pass it all around. Lyrics get like quick cement to the ground. Any MC in any 52 states, I get psycho killer. Norman Bates, I produce a slam. I was like, damn, jump on stage, I did.
6:36. There's a sextile in the morning with Jupiter. Yeah.
Hi, this is Shelley. Thank you for joining us this week. To contact me for a private reading, go to angeliczodiac.com under the Readings tab. To purchase my ebook, Learn Astrology, you can find it at angeliczodiac.com. Background music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Be sure to check back next week and subscribe through iTunes at AstroEnergy Astrology Show.